Hey guys, so to start off the batter, I started by sifting a cup and a half of flour and a teaspoon of baking powder into a bowl, and then I set that aside for later. So for the other half of the batter, I put half a cup or a bar of unsalted butter into another bowl alongside with a cup of sugar. I then mixed them until it was creamy, but it looked sort of chunky. I recommend putting the butter into the microwave for a few seconds to make it easier for you to mix. So once I've done that, I added 5 whole eggs into the bowl and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I then blended them together until they seemed well mixed and it got a thin consistency. Then I slowly incorporated the dry ingredients into the batter and mixed it, 2 teaspoons at a time. I then kinda got lazy and dumped like half of it in one go, but I got a pretty good result, so whatever floats your boat. You're gonna keep mixing until it has a smooth and thick consistency. Then, in a lightly greased 9x13 pan that I coated with flour, I poured my batter in and made sure it was spread as evenly as possible. It'll reach about 1/3 of the pan's height and raise up to half when it's baked. After my oven's been preheated, I baked the cake at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, as the cake was baking, I made the frosting, starting with a cup and a half of heavy whipping cream, a cup of sugar, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I mixed it until the consistency of the frosting was very thick. With a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk, a 14-ounce can of condensed milk, and 2 cups of whole milk, I made the 3 milks or tres leches mixture that will be poured over the cake, and I just mixed it until I felt that it was all combined. Now once the cake is out of the oven, I let it sit for about 10 minutes before I repeatedly stabbed it with a fork to make it easier for the cake to absorb the milks. Then I poured the milk over the cake, spreading it out as evenly as possible. It's okay if the milk pools around the edges, as the edges of the cake will probably need the most milk. With the frosting, I just spread it out as evenly as possible, and I didn't feel like decorating the cake, but of course feel free to make some designs or sprinkle cocoa powder or drizzle caramel. Then I just wrapped the cake with aluminum foil and put it in the fridge for a few hours before eating it. Overall, I think that this tres leches cake came out successful. It tasted so good and the texture was perfect. And for my first time baking, I'm surprised nothing went wrong. I'd say that, however, if I were to make the recipe again, I'd put half a teaspoon of vanilla extract in the batter rather than 1. Yeah, I think that's it, and I hope you enjoyed, and if you make the recipe, comment what you think about it below.